Week 10, baby. Week 10. We made it to week 10.
Week 10. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, so we do have to go through some inactives real quick. You got Amari Cooper's out, Keon Coleman's out, Michael Pittman, Trevor Lawrence, Juju Smith-Schuster, Mike Evans, Brian Robinson Jr., and Jamal Williams. They're all out today. Active are Brian Thomas Jr., Deebo Samuel, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, CeeDee Lamb, Tank Dell, Gabe Davis, Jordan Whittington, and Jalen McMillan, who, if I had known for sure that he was going to play this week, I would have talked about him on our sleeper show last night.
Did you say Tank Dell?
Tank Dell, good to go. He's going to play.
Oh, okay.
No, he's playing. Okay. He's playing tonight. He's playing tonight, but he's going to play.
Yeah, but he's because last I saw was he was still questionable, and I was wondering if that was the weird thing they were doing with Nico. You know, there's no reason to activate him if they're not going to play him tonight.
Right. Exactly.
I didn't know if maybe they activated him in case Tank Dell took a step back and he thought he could go. I don't know.
Yeah, so technically Nico Collins is a game time decision, but I fully expect he's going to play because, like you said, why activate him if they're not planning on playing him?
Yeah, I expect him to be there.
So then we do have Tyreek Hill and Gus Edwards are also looking like game time decisions.
Right. And Khalil Shakir to the moon.
Yes. Yes. With no Cooper or Keon Coleman. I don't know if I have him quite as high as you do, but he's definitely inside my top 24 wide receivers for the week.
Wide receiver 2 this week, baby.
I don't know about that one. Why don't we grab our first question?
All right,
let's get it growing. Get it going. Start 2 and half PPR. It's Rico Dowdle, Taysom Hill, Xavier Worthy. I know you were high on Worthy last week.
Yeah, I was, but that was mostly because of the defense. I'll go with Dowdle and Hill. Hill, there's just a lack of weapons there. And Dowdle stepped up and did kind of what we've wanted him to do for a lot of this season.
Yeah,
with Zeke out last week, so I would say put Worthy on the bench.
Yeah, I agree. Dowdle, keep rolling with Dowdle, and Taysom Hill. It's just gonna be the Taysom Hill. It's gonna be the Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara show in that Saints offense.
What about the Mason Tipton show?
Yeah, but no, Hill could do what I predicted him to do last week. He could be that guy.
Yeah, he could
be that guy. I mean, Falcons, they're going to be playing from behind against the Falcons. They're going to be desperate for points. Nobody in that offense. Just give it to Hill.
Well, I mean, the Saints have done, I'm not a huge Taysom Hill fan as far as consistency goes, but he's got to be one of the players in this league that has the most of his own plays from a team's playbook. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I can't think of anybody but the Saints that has a guy on their team that has plays that are only for him. And that part of the playbook is just gone if he's gone.
Well, supposedly we're going to get some Trey Lance packages today.
I saw that.
I don't know if that's happening, but that's the word on the street. He's certainly not going to be overtaking Cooper Kupp. He's been one of the biggest busts in the last decade at quarterback. I loved Trey Lance just because I love these rushing quarterbacks. Same trap I fell into with Anthony Richardson.
What's that?
I said that was the same trap I fell into with Anthony Richardson.
Speaking of Cooper Kupp, a trade just went down in my dynasty league. Mm-hmm. One of my dynasty leagues. There's a team that's doing a flip. He's just trying to do a 1-year rebuild.
Mhm.
He got, I can't remember who he got Cooper Cup for, but it was like Joe Flacco, Russell Wilson, and like 2 third-round picks for Cup.
Nice.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Right around and traded Cup for Rome Odunze and the 201 next year.
Yeah.
I was like, this is dynasty, right? What are you doing?
Roma Dunze, baby.
That's
Can't wait.
preposterous. That's a preposterous trade.
Can't wait to watch him light up my Patriots today.
He's gonna too.
Is it kind of yeah.
Although you know what it would be. It would be just like everybody to bench DJ Moore today, and for it to be squeaky wheel getting the grease, and all of a sudden DJ Moore has 14 catches for 160 yards and multiple TDs. I don't really think that's going to happen, but
I think Patriots Bears is probably going to be pretty ugly, low scoring, 17-9 type of game. It's just going to be gross. It's going to be awful.
every time I say that, it does not come to fruition. So I guess we'll see.
All right, how about we grab a couple questions here? How about would you go Russell Wilson or Kyler Murray?
I'll go Kyler, even against that defense. I just for the sake of the floor, the rushing floor, I'm gonna roll with him. I feel more comfortable doing that because I can always expect Pittsburgh to turn around and do a serious rushing game.
Yeah.
Like they could do that at any moment. So, and I think they probably will, even though you can throw on Washington.
Yeah, I agree. I would go Kyler as well there. What about so Madison is asking, risk starting Tyreek Hill or should she play Khalil Shakir? I know Khalil Shakir is your guy.
Huh? Oh, Tyreek Hill or
Khalil Shakir. There's a lot of risk with playing Tyreek Hill this week.
Oh man. I gotta go Shakir.
Ooh,
I gotta do it. I have to do listen, I have to put my money where my mouth is. And Tyreek has not had an easy time lately. There's just that whole offense has been a little off since Tua came back. Now, when they blow up, it's everybody's going to have like all the Dolphins on their bench except for the running backs, and everybody's going to be like, wow, why didn't I start Tyreek Hill of all people? But but this is how strongly I feel about Shakir this week. Is Indianapolis's pass defense is so bad, and Buffalo is in such desperate need of playmakers through the air. So I just think it's going to be a Kincaid and Shakir show. I don't even think Mac Hollins is playing in that game.
That I couldn't tell you.
And well, I don't know if it matters regardless.
It doesn't matter. No, I'm whether Tyreek Hill does play or not, I am going all in on Jaylen Waddle this week. I know we talked about it on the Sleeper show last night, but it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before Jaylen Waddle gets going. And I just think if it's ever going to happen, this is the week it's going to happen. Tua, his third game back. They've only played 4 games together this year. And the Rams have been their defense is not good. Their defense is not good. They're giving up a ton in the passing game. I think Jaylen Waddle is just due, and especially if Tyreek Hill's missing practice, not 100% healthy, they're gonna build a game plan around Jaylen Waddle and Devon Achane. But I think we could get a lot of points in that game. It's a high point total, 50-point total. in that game, which could bring us a lot of passing, a lot of points, and be nice for our fantasy assets for sure. And I think Jaylen Waddle is going to be a big beneficiary of that.
It's kind of funny. Last night for our streamers show, two of mine were Ricky Pearsall and Jalen Warren. And I have both of them in my home league. And I was going back and forth on which one of them to play. Well, I also have Jaylen Waddle in that league. So this is the way I thought I remedied the situation. I traded Jaylen Waddle this morning at like 7 a.m. Only to realize that there's a 1-day waiting period. So I'm still in the same conundrum because he's not gone from my team until Tuesday. So I went with Waddle. I left both of my sleepers on the bench. So no matter what, I'm going to be disappointed. Like it just stands to I have a 66% chance of being pissed off. But why is Angie telling us to stop? Should we just shut it down? I can't hear you. Are you muted?
I was muted, yes.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'm getting actually a bunch of Khalil Shakir questions through TikTok. So I'm just gonna.
Yes.
I know you're really high on Shakir this week, so I'm just gonna roll out a few names. Would you start them over Shakir? How about we already talked about Tyreek Hill? You said yes. Would you start Juwan Jennings over Khalil Shakir?
No, I wouldn't.
All right, that's a no. Would you start Tank Dell over Khalil Shakir?
No. Not if Collins plays, but I guess you can't decide that right now.
Right.
Assuming Collins plays, no, I would not play Dell over Shakir. Talking about a number 1 option versus a number 2 option.
Would you start Tank Dell over Khalil Shakir? I'm sorry. I meant Josh Downs. Josh Downs over Khalil Shakir.
The Colts we were just talking about the Colts. Who are they playing?
Playing the Bills.
Oh, they're playing the Bills.
Yeah.
No, Shakir.
What about Najee Harris, Cortland Sutton, or Khalil Shakir?
Najee Harris, Cortland Sutton, or Khalil Shakir? Not Cortland Sutton.
No.
Probably Najee. When in doubt, defer to the running back.
Yeah, I would go Najee there.
He's going to get the touches no matter what.
So I would rank them Najee, Shakir, Sutton in that situation.
I got one for you from Twitter.
All right, let's get it.
Half PPR. Tony Pollard or Brian Thomas Jr.?
Tony Pollard. I think we got to go Tony Pollard.
Me too.
Yeah. Just
me too. I think Thomas Jr. still isn't completely healthy. And he's got Mac Jones trying to throw him the ball. So, man, everyone, like all this week, everybody's talking such junk about Mac Jones. If he goes out there and has like a game, people are going to go nuts.
I mean, he's not that different from Trevor Lawrence. He's really not.
No, he's really not. Carolina just forced another turnover in overtime against the Giants.
Wow. No. Did they? Looks like the Giants have the ball. Unless I'm behind.
Well, they're about to drop it.
Maybe I'm behind.
Tyrone Tracy.
Not Tyrone Tracy.
Yeah, Tyrone Tracy. Chuba Hubbard dropped one too.
Yeah.
Oh, the DJ Moore take. Yeah. What wasn't a take so much as a
There it is. I was
what
bummed.
if? What's funny is actually Angie asked me one of the same questions you just asked me when I told her that I was really into Khalil Shakir this week. She was like, really? Over Jawan Jennings? And I was like, I don't know about that. And I think basically just because I don't know what to do about San Francisco this week.
Right, yeah.
Like, you love their matchup, you know what I mean? But like anybody could have a huge game. So Brock Purdy is super safe.
Yeah. Brock Purdy's a must start.
Yeah, Brock Purdy's a must start. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I'll take Shakir with no target competition over Jawan Jennings, who until this year really only got targets like in the red zone in the playoffs. Like that was like the only time he ever showed up.
And he's got to deal with Kittle. He's got to deal with Christian McCaffrey back. He's coming off his own hip injury.
All right, I got another Twitter one for you. Risk it for the biscuit. Risk it for Nico Collins or start Austin Eckler against Pittsburgh.
Oh, we got to go Nico Collins. Got to go Nico Collins there.
Yeah, I think you do, and just try to maybe have an alternative that you can make a move. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm really confident that he's going to play. Like we talked about at the top of the show, like why activate him if they're not going to play him?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
It's a must-win game. It's against the Lions. This could be Nico Collins could go back to a huge game. He could be a top 5 wide receiver this week.
Yeah, that's the other thing is, guy's barely going to need to exert himself, I think. So.
Yeah, Eckler is a fine play, but I feel more comfortable with him in like a flex position rather than over a guy like a top 5, Nico Collins guy. Let's grab this question from Carlos. He's asking Tyreek Hill. We're gonna get a lot of Tyreek Hill questions today, just with the risk of him playing or not.
Yeah,
Tyreek Hill or Lad McConkey. It just sucks that we have to wait till Monday to find out if he's playing or not. And there's really no alternatives to go pick up.
Yeah, not unless you have an empty roster spot and you can pick up like a Demarcus Robinson or something like that.
Yeah, even in some leagues, Demarcus Robinson's not even available. You got to go even deeper to maybe like a Jordan Whittington, or I don't even want to touch Odell Beckham.
Carolina's kicked field goal to win.
Wow, hasn't happened for me yet.
Way to ruin your draft spot, boys.
I know, and as a Patriots fan, way to help my draft spot.
Yeah. And of course they beat the Giants. So hey, Giants, way to go improving your draft spot so you can get that quarterback to replace Daniel.
Which they should have instead of drafting Malik Neighbors, but that's it.
Right. I'll say, obviously this wouldn't be a question. If it was Monday, if it wasn't Monday, you'd play Tyreek regardless. Right. McConkey has a pretty safe floor, though. I think if it's a PPR league, he's probably got a floor of 10, which you can't be mad at. So I'd probably play McConkey because I don't know if you remember, but last season there were like 2 or 3 games where they said Tyreek's probably going to play, and then at game time they were like, no, he's not. So this just reminds me of that. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I would say so. I have Lad McConkey ranked as a top 24 wide receiver this week, so he's a pretty safe play, I think. So if you want to play it safe, he's definitely a guy to go with. But Tyreek, I totally forgot where I was going.
I mean, it's a good setup for Tyreek if he plays, but who knows if
Yeah.
he's going to play?
So I would say if you need the upside this week, like if you need a smash play, like if you're not favored in your matchup and you really need, a guy to put up, 20 points for you, I think then you risk it and you go with Tyreek Hill. If you just need a safer play, if you're a favorite in your matchup, I think you can go with McConkey and just roll with, the points that you're going to get from him.
Yeah, you're going to get 8 to 10 as a floor, but you're probably not going to get 20 to 25 from McConkey.
Tank Dell or Josh Downs, PPR?
I'll go Josh Downs.
Yeah. I agree.
I've actually got Downs ranked pretty high. And I like what he does with Flacco. God bless America that AR isn't playing.
Yes.
And
save the day, baby.
And Pittman has rapidly become the ultimate boom or bust. So yeah, I'd feel comfortable with Downs both as a floor and a ceiling.
Yeah, I agree. I got Josh Downs ranked as my wide receiver 28 this week. I mean, I'm sorry, 18. And Tank Dell is my wide receiver 26. So I would definitely lean Downs there. What we saw last week from Josh Downs, that was his floor. That was his floor against a confusing, difficult, harassing Vikings defense. Even Joe Flacco had a hard time deciphering the coverages that they were rolling out there. It's going to be easier from here. That was the floor for Downs, especially with Michael Pittman out. I think Josh Downs is a must start, mid to high end wide receiver 2 just about every single week at this point. Roll with Downs. All we want in fantasy football is first downs, touchdowns, and Josh Downs. How about DeAndre Hopkins, Lad McConkey, or Marvin Harrison Jr. in full PPR?
I want to check my rankings on this, so why don't you go ahead first?
Yeah, I have them all ranked like in a cluster. So I have DeAndre Hopkins as my wide receiver 22. He could get the Patrick Surtain treatment. That's a little bit of a risk, but he does move into the slot a lot. So he could help him avoid some Patrick Surtain coverage. Now I have Lad McConkey as my wide receiver 24 and Marvin Harrison Jr. as my wide receiver 25, and he could get the Sauce Gardner treatment. They're all solid plays. I got to go Hopkins. I think he's going to build on the momentum of last week. He's fully acclimated into that offense now. He's good to go. Wheels up. DeAndre Hopkins is a guy I'm playing here, but I really couldn't push back too hard against any of them.
Yeah, I've got Lad at 23, MHJ at 26, and Hopkins at 27.
So we're pretty close on them.
I don't like going up against the Tennessee or Jets pass defense.
Or the Broncos for that.
Yeah, no, not the Broncos either, but I also saw what Lamar did with Zay Flowers when Flowers was getting the Surtain treatment last week. And he had over 100 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll roll with you. I'm going Hopkins too.
All right, I like it. What about should we go Evan Ingram or Jake Ferguson? Both are playing with backup quarterbacks this week.
I'm sorry, Evan Ingram or Jake Ferguson? I'll go Ingram. I think Cooper Rush is more likely to try to push the ball downfield because of his experience in the league. So I don't think he's going to rely on checking down to a tight end as much as Mac Jones will probably need to.
Yeah, I'll go Evan Ingram as well. How about Brian Thomas Jr. or Jaylen Waddle? I think I would go Jaylen Waddle there. I'm all in on Jaylen Waddle this week.
Yeah, I'm Jaylen Waddle too. I'm not sure that Mac Jones can do it, and I'm not sure that Brian Brian Thomas is actually healthy.
Right. Yeah, that's another key point there too, is he's still battling through that chest injury.
Yep.
And we've talked about the risk of Tyreek Hill throughout this entire show. So this just wheels up for Jaylen Waddle. This is the week. If you have Jaylen Waddle, if you're ever going to play Jaylen Waddle, now is the time. If you're not going to play him this week, then when are you ever going to play him? You're not. Let's grab this one from CC Sharks, asking Cortland Sutton or Jameson Williams. So Jameson is coming off of the multi-game suspension, and Cortland Sutton is coming off back-to-back weeks with more than 10, or at least 10 targets.
I've got them ranked reasonably close. Denver's not going to be able to run the ball. So I tend to lean towards Sutton in this situation. Yeah, that's my final answer. I'm sticking to it.
All right. Yeah, I also have them ranked pretty close. This is a tough one for me. I have Jameson at wide receiver 28, Cortland Sutton at wide receiver 32. I think I would lean Jameson just because of the game environment in that game. That could end up being a shootout, although I actually think the Lions are going to crush the Texans tonight.
Yeah.
But the Texans defense hasn't been good. Jameson Williams, he's a mess. He's just a mess. But all he needs is 170-yard touchdown to break.
Yeah, well, that's what I was about to say. Is I think Sutton is the safer play, but if you need a boom start, throw Jameson out there, and then you can't be mad if he only comes up with 4 points.
Right.
Because he might also come up with 20. I got one for you because we're running out of time here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming I already know the answer to this, but Jaylen Waddle or George Pickens?
Jaylen Waddle or George Pickens? Ooh. Oh man, I am all in on Waddle this week, but I have George Pickens one spot ahead of him.
I have Pickens a pretty decent amount ahead of him, actually.
So if I knew for sure that Tyreek Hill was going to be out, I would definitely say Jaylen Waddle, but I think we gotta give the slight edge to George Pickens.
Yeah, I agree.
What about DeAndre Hopkins or Marvin Harrison Jr.?
I'll go with DeAndre Hopkins there.
Yeah, me too. DeAndre Hopkins. You got any other from Twitter you're working on?
I'm checking right now. I'm just responding to the last one.
All right. How about I'll grab this one. How about 2 wide receivers? No first names. AJ Brown, Nico Collins, Josh Downs. I guess we've got to go AJ Brown and Nico Collins there. Although if there's any risk of Nico Collins not playing, then I'm totally fine going with Josh Downs. How about Deebo Samuel or Khalil Shakir?
Shakir. No. I think in that situation, Deebo. Because he's the only one where in San Francisco, I'm not going to question whether he's going to get looks.
Yeah, I got to go Deebo there too. I haven't ranked him as a borderline wide receiver one this week. As much as we love Khalil Shakir, it's got to be Deebo, especially with Ayuk out there.
I agree. I'd find a way to get them both in.
Yeah, definitely. I say that all the time. Like we get some questions. These are tiny little leagues.
And I'm like, your team can't be that good that you can't play both of these guys.
Just gotta find some more challenging leagues. How about Juwan Jennings or Travis Etienne? That was a tough one. It's tough because we saw Travis Etienne come back last week, but he was clearly not getting, his full workload. But is that because of the injury, or is that because they like Tank Bigsby?
Well, and the game script clearly dictates that Mac Jones is going to have to dump the ball off a bunch. But the question is, was he passed by Dearness Johnson while he was gone as the preferred receiver? No,
I don't think so. I don't think they're going to go that far with it.
I'm still going. I'm still going San Francisco on this one. I'm leaving ETN on the bench for one more week before I'm comfortable putting him in.
Yeah, that's probably the right play. Go with Jennings, but I mean, there's definitely big questions on both sides of that.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
And I can see it going either way.
The Vikings. So let's just go with Jennings. That game's going to be a fantasy point party.
Yeah.
Let's go Jennings.
And the Jaguars clearly is not.
Right. It's going to be a turnover party for Mac Jones. But we have reached 1 o'clock. So that means it is time for football. Hopefully everybody wins today. Hopefully we gave some correct answers today. And make sure you check out everything we're doing at yardsperfantasy.com, the Yards Per Fantasy YouTube channel. I got a new show, a brand new show launching this week on Wednesday. It's called Title Run. We're going to take you for a 6-week run all the way through to win your championship. I'll see you guys then. And of course, we'll be back here doing this again next week. Thanks, Sam.
See you guys.